Hello, Plant Life people. It's Christine from the Plant Life Canada. Like every Wednesday, I am here to give you a wonderful cooking demo. I hope everyone is doing well. I was saying in the chat just now that it's nice and sunny where I am, so it's a nice feeling when it's cold and we just got a bunch of snow. So it's lovely. I hope it's sunny where you are as well. So today, I see my friend Connie. Hi. So today I'm doing a little demo on something that could be kind of boring, but there's so many different options. And I wanted to give some easy cooking tips because that's the whole name of the game here on this channel, is to show people how easy and delicious it is to cook vegan food at home and just make it part of your everyday lifestyle. It's really easy. So one thing I'll remind everyone, if you have not already, please like this video, subscribe to my channel if you can, please, if you haven't done so already. And if you really love me and you want to help me increase my YouTube status, please stick around after this video and watch some other video. It doesn't have to be mine. Just stick around, watch a couple of other videos, and that will show you, that will make YouTube like me more. So that would be awesome. So in this cooking demo, I will be doing a quick tutorial on knives and cutting veggies for stir fry, and then I'm going to show you how to make my most favorite stir fry sauce ever, which also can be used for fresh rolls if you make them. And you can dip veggies in it, you can thin it out and make it a sort of Asian salad dressing. You can make cold noodle salads. You can do so much stuff with this stir fry sauce, and it's so easy, and it's with ingredients you probably have in your house right now, so you can totally make it. But first I wanted to give you some tips on knives and stuff, because I think when people are trying to cook more at home, they think they have to have special knives or have special skills and cut things a certain way, and you really don't have to. So I want to show you some of the knives that I use, and I am not a trained chef. I just make good food. But I, for some reason, have a drawer full of knives, which I never use. So, and I see my aunt chiming in. Okay, so these are a bunch of knives. So these knives, when you're cooking in the kitchen, plant-based, well, any base, but so we have these knives. So you have a knife like this, if it's got serrated edges, it's really only good for bread. You don't want to use this for chopping veggies or your normal kitchen knife. Not very common. Also, when chopping veggies, if you have a long utility knife like this, it's not really the right angle and it's too long to get nice leverage to easy chop vegetables. You're going to have a hard time with this one as well. And then you have these little knives, which I guess traditionally are known as steak knives, but in the vegan world, they are just used for opening tofu packages. That's a steak knife. Now this one you can use in a pinch, it's not too bad, but these kind of knives, you only need them on occasion, so you don't really need those. But the best two knives are your normal kitchen utility knife, which is curved up on the edge and it's not too long. So this means that when you're using it on your cutting board, you're not going to go off the cutting board. You're not going to have all this extra knife. This is very, very usable. And then this type of knife, if you've ever seen it, is called, I wrote it down, a Santoku knife, traditionally from Japan, and they're more flat on the bottom, and they have these divots along the side. So I usually use this knife, but I wanted to give you a tip. If you have a knife that has these ridges, this is a really awesome knife to use if you're chopping something that's starchy like potatoes or really wet, even like tomatoes and stuff like that, because these ridges will help the veggies not stick to the knife. So you know when you're like chopping veggies and all your veggies all stick to the knife, or the potatoes are really starchy and they stick, use a knife, with these ridges. So that is some tips on knives. My favorite is this one because it tips up and then you can do a rocking motion to cut your veggies. It makes it super easy. But if you have knives that are more flat, then you're going to use a back and forth motion to cut your veggies instead of a rocking motion. So I just wanted to give you guys those tips. So the next tip I have is for veggies, which we're going to cut some veggies. I won't cut them very long because it's probably very boring. But I just wanted to show you The other thing you have to realize too, when you want to cook at home more and you want to make stuff that tastes good, if you find yourself, you want to make sure you're making a great meal for yourself or your family, is what's going into the meal. Like the flavors are important, but also like how you're eating it. So for example, if you are making a stir fry and you're putting it on rice, you want to chop your veggies differently than if you are putting your stir fry on noodles, or you're using your veggies to roast them up or put them in fresh rolls. You're going to chop it differently. And what that does along with the flavors is make sure that the meal tastes good to you, even the feel of it in your mouth. If you have big, giant, long pieces of veggies on rice, it's not as easy to eat because the rice is smaller and the veggies are these huge, large pieces. So just keep that in mind. How you're chopping things as well goes into how much you'll enjoy the meal. So the meal has to taste good, it has to look good, and then it also has to feel good when you eat it. So that's another cooking tip for you right there. So I will show you what I mean in terms of like cutting the different sizes, and I'm going to show you 2 quick tips on cutting veggies into longer strips that you can use for noodle stir fries and for fresh rolls. So we're going to go down a little bit. There we go. We have my veggies. So this is my, woo! We have a technical difficulty with the camera. Look how exciting this is. I might have to hold it. Oh my gosh. All right, let's try this and see how we do. Oh, my Lanta folks are having an issue here. Okay, so let's pull this forward here. Now we're not tipping over. Wow, drama today. So like I mentioned, if you're cooking a stew or stir fry, and you're putting it on rice or grains, you want to chop your veggies into small pieces like this. We have these cubed, right? Everyone can cut cubed up veggies. But if you're cutting your veggies and you want them in longer strips, I wanted to show you guys some tips. So one of the main tips, peppers are pretty easy. If you want really long strips to go with noodles, you just go ahead like that. And again, I have my knife, so I'm doing my rocking motion. It cuts really easy. You do not have to be a master chef, chopping like, Gordon Ramsay or whatever. Just make sure you know how to move the knife that you have. So that's the long strips for that. Cabbage is easy. One that I wanted to show you for sure is zucchini, because if you cut the zucchini like this in long strips, some of the pieces are going to end up being only seeds, which is gross to eat, right? So what you want to do with the zucchini is cut it in a diagonal like this. So you cut it off just like that. And then you're going to get these long pieces, which you then can cut into thin strips like this. So this is a really good way for noodles, or this is what I do for my fresh rolls. And then what happens is you get all the pieces of the zucchini in each strip, so that you don't have just one strip that's all seeds, because that is so gross. So that's the tip for zucchini there. You cut it in strips. Again, I'm doing my knife in a rocking motion because that's the knife I'm using. Awesome. And then you can do the same thing with carrots. So carrots, if you cut them in thick pieces, it's going to take longer to cook in a stir fry. But you can leave them like that if you're roasting them. But again, if you're doing thin strips, you want to go like this. And then you can get them in nice thin strips. And that's good for, again, fresh rolls and noodle zucchinis. Noodle stir fries, not zucchinis. And you can also do that with your, like, this is a little bit easier to cut in strips, but then you get that long stringy piece in your celery. So again, if you're doing noodles, you want to cut that on like a very steep cut. And you don't have to cut these in half again, but then you get this nice long strip, and you don't have to worry about the strings of the celery coming out and stuck in your teeth and stuff like that. So that is some tips on chopping. And again, you want to make sure that the meal tastes good in your mouth and feels good in your mouth. So I wanted to show you a quick tip on that, on cutting those pieces on a bias. It's a game changer when you're chopping veggies and you want to get that strip size. So there you go. We have our strips for our noodles, and we have our chunks for our rice stir fry. So that's that there. And we've lost our camera again. Jeepers creepers, folks. I'm going to try the same fix that I tried last time. And we'll see what happens. If I lose some viewers, I lose some viewers. But we're still trucking on. There we go. Look at that. Turn it off and back on again. I don't know why that happens every time I move my camera now. I'll figure it out. Okay, so again, we're back to the tutorial on stir fries. So for stir fries, there's tons of noodles and stuff that are accidentally vegan. Obviously, rice is vegan, so I just wanted to show you some of these because I'm obsessed with noodles. So we have these President's Choice udon noodles, which is a Japanese style white noodle. These are good for stir fries or soup. Then we have vermicelli noodles, which are the really thin noodles, and I found these whole wheat ones from No Frills. It's just a different brand, so that's a really nice cheap brand. And you can also get mung bean vermicelli noodles, which are really awesome, and they're, if it's something that you're worried about, they are very low calorie. These are amazing. They fill you up. And the vermicelli noodles can be used really nicely in like a cold noodle salad, which this dressing I'm about to show you is so good for. And then you can also get, they're called cognac noodles. And those are also made out of a type of, I think it's just cognac flour, yeah. And so these are also used in soups and stir fries, but these are super low calorie. Everyone's obsessed with these kind of noodles because it's only 15 calories per package and it'll fill you up. But if you eat a lot of veggies in your stir fry, the fiber and the bulk of that will fill you up too. And I won't get into rice because everyone knows pretty much how to cook rice, but one tip I will share with you that I learned that I never did when I was younger is rinse your rice. So rinse your rice if you want to get that nice fluffy rice, especially if it's jasmine rice and you want that fluff. You don't want like sticky hard rice. Rinse it out first. But I never used to do that, and I used to hate brown rice, and now that I do that and I put a little veggie broth in it with the rice, brown rice, it's amazing. Okay, without further ado, we're getting on to the sauce because I'm hungry and it's delicious. So for the sauce, again, if you don't have one of these bullet blenders, just go ahead and you can mix it by hand. It just take you a slightly bit longer. So we're going to go ahead and whack all this together. This is my favorite sauce. So this is a spicy peanut butter sauce, and I use this for stir fries. I use it for fresh rolls. I use it sometimes on salads, cold noodle salads. It's amazing. So, and it also helps prep. So tonight we're having stir fry with all these veggies, and then I'm pre-prepping more sauce for the fresh rolls tomorrow and chopping all the veggies. So now when I go to make dinner tomorrow, it's pretty much all made. I just roll up the fresh rolls and eat them. So that's another thing too. If you can make similar meals throughout the week that have similar ingredients, you're going to cut your prep time massively without having to be one of these mega meal prep people that do it on Sundays. So let's go ahead and do that and cross our fingers that nothing crazy happens when I move this camera. Let's see. Let's see how far I can go. It's like a game. Okay, that looks good. Okay, so we can see everything we need to. So now for this recipe, you will need peanut butter. So I have some chunky peanut butter. That's fine, whatever peanut butter you want. You're going to need garlic. You will also need some sort of spicy hot sauce. I like this chili sauce. You're going to need soy sauce or tamari, whatever you like. And you will need lemon juice, and you'll also need some ginger. So one of the things I remember telling in another video, if you're doing something in a bullet blender and it involves peanut butter, put your peanut butter in last. Get all your liquids in first. So let's start with our liquids. So we're going to do 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. And this soy sauce was recommended to me by a friend who's from Taiwan. So I think this might be from Taiwan. And she said this one was really good, and it was actually really light and delicious. So I love that. Now we're going to go ahead. So that was 2 tablespoons of lemon. I think lime juice would fit in this, but with the lemon juice, you're not getting the lemon juice flavor very strong, so it's a little bit better. And then we're also going to put in 4 tablespoons of water. Now, if you want to stretch this recipe and make a lot of stir fry, you can put in more water and add a little bit of cornstarch, and then it will thicken up. But we'll start with 4 tablespoons here. And then however much chili sauce you can handle. I'm going to put about half a tablespoon. It's pretty good for me. So that's the chili sauce. And then we have our garlic. So this is 2 cloves of garlic I'm putting in here, but you can put more in, which is always a good idea, but I'm putting in 2. I might sneak more in later when I actually cook this. I don't know. Garlic. So remember, peanut butter last, but I also wanted to show you another tip about ginger. So if you don't eat ginger a ton, throw it in the freezer in a bag and keep it in there, and it will remain fresh. This one might have a little bit of ice on it. So you just freeze your ginger. Make sure you wash the skin because you can't eat the skin. And then what you want to do is get a cheese grater or get one of these fruit zesters. So this is like a citrus zester. And all you do is zest your ginger right in there. And you'll zest up the skin too, but it'll be so fine that you won't notice it. So this is awesome with ginger because I don't use it enough to keep it fresh. And then this stays fresh and you just grate it in. And the reason why I like this, there's tons of reasons. So 1, it's easy. And 2, when you cut up chunks of ginger, you end up getting there's sort of strings in the flesh of the ginger, the root. And that sometimes will come out in your cooking and you'll get sort of like a string of ginger stuck in your teeth. The other thing that's awesome about ginger like this is you can take this and shred it into a glass of water, and that tastes divine. It's amazing. So freeze your ginger, use it for lots of stuff. You can zest it up into your curries, lots of things. So I'm kind of eyeballing this, but it's supposed to be 2 teaspoons. And I have made this with dried ginger powder, and it tastes pretty good too. That's my ginger tricks and tips. And now we have a 1/4 cup of peanut butter. And again, we want to make sure everything tastes good when you cook it. So when you're looking at a recipe or you want to make a recipe up, you usually want to make sure you have all the different taste bud flavors in your recipe. So you want to have sort of a umami savory flavor. You want to have salty. You want to have sweet, sour, and bitter. And if you have all of those things in a good proportion in your meal, it will taste good. It will taste delicious. So this sauce is the same way. We've got our umami and our salty in the soy sauce. We've got sweetness out of the peanut butter, especially if you use sort of a sweetened peanut butter. We've got our sour lemon and our bitter ginger. They're kind of a mix. And so we have all the flavors we need to make something taste delicious. So now we're just going to blend it. So again, when you put the peanut butter last, it doesn't stick to the sides of the jar. So peanut butter last. Even though peanut butter is the greatest, put it in last. All right. Let's see if this shuts down my camera. So it doesn't need much because I already minced my garlic, but you want to make sure there's no giant pieces of garlic in it. And then, look at this. I wonder if I can get some good lighting in here. Delicious. So that's at about a good consistency for a dip for our fresh rolls and for the stir fry. So it does make quite a bit. For me, I'm cooking for 2, that's enough. But if we wanted more stir fry sauce, again, add some water and add cornstarch, and then it will thicken up into a nice sauce. This would also be, I think, a good thickness for a salad dressing or a cold noodle salad. I'm going to move my camera again. Cross your fingers, everybody. It worked without turning off. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's taste test this bad boy. I don't have a whole stir fry to taste test because that would be another 20 minutes on this video. But look at that. So good. And it's got, like I said, the flavors of this are awesome. Like I pretty much make this once a week, if not more. And it's so good. I should probably just make a giant jar of it at the beginning of the week. So let's give it a go. So look at that. Nice and drippy. Good for everything. You could just dip veggies in it. Like, it's so versatile. I love finding recipes that you can use for a million things because it makes the recipes less boring that you're making it so often because you're cooking it on different things. So let's give it a go. I get the spice right away, but it's like a good spice. This stuff you can get pretty much at, I've found this at all grocery stores. Sambal Olek. Sometimes it comes in a little jar so you can taste test it. I love it. I'll put it in stir fries and stuff. This is really good. And then you get the peanut butter, which gives you that like richness. And then the saltiness from that soy sauce is also really good. Probably even, like I said, with the lime in it, I feel like a peanut and lime flavor is good for stir fries as well, especially if you're doing a cold noodle salad. You could use your, if you have one of these guys, you could put some lime zest on it. It would be great. So that is it. That is the video. And thank you so much. I hope these tips helped. Again, cooking at home is easy. It's way better for you, even more better for you if it's plant-based. So it's really awesome to be able to cook delicious vegan food easily. And again, make stuff that has similar ingredients throughout the week, and it'll make your life a whole lot easier. So that is it, guys. Thanks for your patience with my camera technology problems and tipping over. Thanks for joining me every week. And please, again, like and share this video. And if you have a few minutes, 5 minutes, watch another video of mine and stick around so that YouTube will like my channel a lot more. That is it from the Plant Life Canada, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Bye.